There will be times when you'll need to run a LINQ query without being sure whether it will find any records in the database. When returning multiple records using the where method, this will simply return an empty collection. But when using the single method, it will cause an exception. In this lesson, you'll write LINQ code to check whether a single record exists, and only return a result if so. To begin, open the Spark sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of reports.aspx. We are now going to write some code to return a single record. In Lesson 10.3, you used the single method to return a single row of data. If the row of data hadn't existed, it would have caused an exception. First, remove all code from the using statement. And add the following in its place. Customer check customer equals data.customers.single customer lambda customer.customer ID equals 99. Because this is a long line of code, I'm going to split it onto 2 lines. Now add the following code on the next line. Label report.text equals check customer.customer name. Now view the page in your browser. As you can see, the code causes an error. This is because there is no record in the database for customer ID 99, so the single method generates an exception. You could use try and catch to work around this, but it's better to avoid that approach because you can make your code work without causing an exception. You learned about try and catch in Lesson 7.6. Close your web browser now. Next, we're going to add code to check whether the record exists. First, change the single method to single or default. The single or default method works in exactly the same way as single, but it will return null if the record doesn't exist, instead of causing an exception. Note that the first or default method works in a very similar way to single or default, but it will return the first result if it finds more than one result. View the page in your browser again. You can see another error message. This time, it's because the check customer object is null, so the code can't set labelReport.text to the value of its customer name property. You can fix this with a simple if statement. Close your browser now. Now add an if statement around the labelReport.text line with the following code. If check customer equals null, labelReport.text equals customer does not exist. Else labelReport.text equals checkCustomer.CustomerName. This will check if the returned customer object is null. If the return value is null, the text "Customer does not exist" is displayed instead of the return value. View the page in your browser now. As you can see, your code does not cause an exception and instead shows that customer ID 99 does not exist. Close your web browser now. You've now completed Lesson 10.6. Check whether a record exists using LINQ.